It's a permanent smile I'm looking at on your face. That's the same smile I saw when you were down 24-0. You didn't have a problem. What happens to you? You come out of the phone booth like Superman.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of things were kind of going wrong at that time, but I felt like we still were playing good football. We just weren't executing at a high enough level. And so kind of going and talking to the offense and the defense, I just told everybody if we just take it one play at a time, then we can get ourselves back in this game. And we did that. We did one play at a time. We got some turnovers on defense and with the special teams, and then all of a sudden we were up at halftime.
I've been in games, and when it starts snowballing like that, it's tough to dig yourself out. You know, bad series can lead to a bad quarter, which can lead to a bad half, which can lead to a bad game. But you kind of, drew the line in the sand. I saw you on the sideline. You're talking to your guys, come on, guys, let's go, to get everybody going when you want to get them going. I mean, where does that come from, number one? Because you guys did. You drew a line in the sand and said, no more. We're not going to tolerate it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about this whole entire season was the adversity that we dealt with kind of in that middle part of the season. As far as injuries to me and to other guys that play big roles on our team, and then some of the losses that we suffered in that middle part of the season. I think that built us and made us mentally tougher to be in those situations where we had to come back and win football games and big football games, and guys had that mental toughness that they just took it and went with the process and did it one play at a time and found ways to win games.
Let's talk about you, shotgun, and then it's a 5-step drop. You drift, and it's kind of your linemen don't mind it, but it's just kind of amazing sometimes how deep you are when you throw the ball, and you still throw it like you're in a 3-step drop.
Yeah, it's something that can be a bad habit at sometimes, but at sometimes it can be very useful. And so that's something that I've kind of tried to manage throughout my career, and even before when I was in college and in high school, was to try to hitch up when I need to. But if there's pressure coming and I know I'm not protected, I try to fade away and give my receivers time to run the routes.
Yeah, and you take the middle rush away.
Yeah.
It's a long way to get to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I understand this week, especially with the pass rushers that they have on the edge, that I'm going to have to step up sometimes and hitch up in the pocket. But at the same time, I think my offensive line does a great job of kind of protecting me where I'm at in the pocket.
Well, it's interesting. We just talked to Eric Fisher, and he said normally now he loves it blocking for you. He goes, because I can see the defensive lineman's eyes of where you're at. And he said, I get a feel for how to block it, so it is benefiting them up front as well. I want to talk about, too, I noticed in the last game, Tennessee played a lot of coverage.
Yep.
And you were manipulating a lot of those defenders, because they were pretty much dropping everybody. They had a 3-man rush, but you were very, I've never seen a quarterback as young as you be able to manipulate a secondary like that. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it honestly comes from my first year in this offense when I had Alex Smith and Coach Nagy, Coach Kafka, Eric Bieniemy, and Coach Reed, of course, all these great offensive minds, and I saw how they game planned every single week. I got to sit in that meeting room with Alex and see how he kind of builds a blueprint and recognizes coverages whenever I didn't recognize coverages like he was doing, and he was calling them out, and he was giving me little tips here and there. And I think that experience has kind of sped up my process of learning how to see coverages before they're playing them, recognize them, and then get the ball out of my hand.
I'm really close to Brad Childress. We're friends for life.
Yes.
So I remember your rookie season. Brad would call me and say, we'd put a play up and say, what would you take? And the other quarterbacks would say, well, I'll take that shallow cross. And you always said, I'll take the post.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, come on now. I knew about it, so I'd like to talk just what's in that mind of yours about how you see attacking those secondaries.
Yeah, I mean, I've always believed that with the guys that I play around, that I want to give them chances to make plays. And especially with the guys I have now with Tyreek, Sammy, Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson. I have guys that can beat people deep, and they can also make contested catches. And so I feel like if there's a one-on-one on the field and my guy has any step at all, or even if he's even, I feel like if I can put the ball out there, he's going to make the play for me.
Well, there it is. The tight end and Tyreek, but all of a sudden, I was on the sideline last week. So no one gives anything, but you had a lot of Sammy.
Yep.
And your ability to see that and how fast you read through that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff we prepare for. I mean, obviously, when we play, we understand how much of a threat that Travis is and Tyreek is, and how much defenses really have to focus on those guys. And we're going to get those guys going. We're going to get them the ball. But when defenses are putting 2 guys on each one of them, I mean, when you have a guy like Sammy Watkins one-on-one with a corner, you got to take that matchup. And you've seen in these games, these big games that we've played these last 2 years, where he's had big days because he understands that if he beats his guy, he can score a lot of touchdowns.
You talked about the pass rush of the 49ers, just a little on the secondary without giving too much away, because they are the number one pass defense in the NFL, Richard Sherman and company. And just what do you see when you see the 49ers defense when you're breaking them down on tape?
I see a great unit. I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, they have the pass rushers that can really fly around. They have linebackers that are flying to the football no matter where it is. And then with the secondary, they understand when they're bringing pressure. They understand when they need to cover for longer, when they can jump routes, and they understand the whole scheme of what they're doing, and they do it really, really well. And I think that's the biggest thing when you have guys like Richard Sherman, who's seen a lot and understands how to recognize the route before you even run it. And then these other guys that have played with kind of together for a while now, they understand that if they have this pressure, they can kind of be a little bit more risky and jump some of those routes.
Let's take us through the touchdown run. I was standing there watching you do it. I felt like right up to the very last second you were still trying to throw it. I don't think the run was part of the equation until okay, I got to go now.
Yeah, that's how I usually am on most things. I've always believed that it's about getting it to the playmakers, getting it to the guys that can break and score touchdowns, and the receivers or running backs and the tight ends. So when I'm scrambling, I'm usually looking downfield to run. And for that one, I was running, I was looking downfield, and finally I kind of went out, and I was thinking about going out of bounds. And then as I realized I could hit the sideline, I went up there, of course, and I knew we had 2 timeouts, so I was like, I might as well try to cut it back and get in there.
Well, I thought you were going to go down when you initially got hit, and all of a sudden you got almost like a second wind or a second surge where you plowed it into the end zone. You were carrying guys with you. But I thought you were meaning to go down there, but you had a second effort.
Yeah, I was trying to get in the end zone for sure, and then I felt him kind of stripping at the ball, so I just kind of covered it with 2 hands. It almost came out, but I was able to do enough to kind of get in the end zone.
Last one for me. I want to take you back to last year just because of what I watched when I watched it I'm hoping you were coming in here. So you play these guys last year. You score a touchdown on the first 5 drives, and you were on fire. And it's the second quarter. It's the second quarter all year. You led the NFL at 177 points. It's the second quarter in the postseason this year. And when I went back and looked at that game, second quarter again. What's up with you in the second quarter?
I think it's just about recognizing what the defense is trying to do and who they're trying to take away, and then making adjustments quickly. That's been a big thing for us this year. Obviously, we want to start better, especially against a team like this next Sunday. And I think the biggest thing is just recognizing starting better, but then still making those adjustments and still having a great second quarter and finish out the game strong.
Well, Patrick, thank you for your time. Have a great game, and good luck to you guys this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Fired up, man.